Welcome everyone. Here is a yoga practice intended as a warm down for runners and cyclists. You don't need anything for this practice and you can do it wherever you like. You can do it in the garden when you're just back from your run. You don't even need to change out of your kit. Enjoy. So we're going to start at the top of the mat. So taking a couple of steps up and finding your way to the top of your mat. We're going to start feet hip width distance apart, feeling a strong kind of grounded foundation. You want toes separated, feet engaged with the floor. We're going to take the arms up overhead and have a big stretch up here, big stretch up the top. You could take that little wiggle side to side if that feels nice. Just starting to feel out what's happening in the side waist and the chest of the body. You bring the arms up overhead, and then when you're ready with an exhale, you're just going to shoot down, find your way into your forward fold. Maybe having a pedal out through the legs here. Might feel really nice in the backs of the legs, or it might feel really tight, like there's not lots of movement. If there's not lots of movement, don't worry. Stick with the sensation of kind of pedaling out through the legs so you can keep the heels on the floor. That's going to maximise the amount of movement in the backs of the legs and the hips. From here, when you feel like you stretched evenly, maybe have a couple of deep knee bends. That can feel nice as well. And then we're going to move into our downward facing dog. So bend the knees as much as you need to and planting the palms on the floor. You're going to start off stepping the right leg back. That might feel really nice. It might be a lovely stretch in the back of the leg. So feel free to stay here and press out through the back heel if that feels really good. And then when you feel like you're ready, palms come to the mat and you'll just step the left leg to join the right leg. So making your way into your downward facing dog and then maybe having a pedal out through the legs. As you pedal out through the legs, just check the hands are really grounded. You don't want to be thinking too much about having to hold your weight up. You want more to be able to relax in the legs here. So from here, we're going to bring the left foot slightly more into the centre line. So you're just moving the left foot into the middle of the hands here, and then taking the right foot up as high as it'll go for you. Don't worry if it's not lifting up really high off the floor, and you're thinking about pressing out through the back heel. Press out through the back heel. Pull the belly in. Take a big breath here. As you exhale, you're going to shoot the knee up and in, transitioning through to get the knee on the foot on the floor. If it doesn't go anywhere near the top of the mat, grab it with your hand and give it some help up to the front of the mat. So from here, we're going to drop the back knee down. Back knee comes down to the floor, and just check when you untuck your back toes, it's as if you've got a packing box tucked in under this front knee. So right angles between the floor and the heel, at the back of the knee, at the groin, and then between the front of the thigh and the floor again. So from that position, we're going to bring the hands up the leg, taking a big inhale as you go. Press the knee away, lengthen through the upper body. So whole body in one line is what you're looking for ideally before you start to think about moving the hips forwards in space. So you lengthen, lift through the chest. Take a couple of breaths here if you want, if this feels nice. And then you're maybe then from that position able to start to think about moving the hips forwards in space. If there's not enough room, creep front toes forwards and make yourself a bit of space. You want the front knee to always stay above the front ankle, even as the hips move forwards and down. So you're looking for a stretch up the front of the left thigh here. Maybe a little bit of activity in the right hamstring as well, just as it holds you up. You can use the hands against the knee to support the upper body, finding your way into an open chest and stretching out through the front of the left thigh. From here, when you're ready, you're going to take a big inhale, shoot the arms up overhead as you come back to neutral. Exhaling, forwards over the front leg as you straighten out the right leg. Straightening out the right leg, you're going to bring the toes up towards the face. So the toes come up towards the face. If there's not enough room for this leg to become straight, take the heel forwards a touch. Bring the toes towards the face, fingertips can be on the mat, or if it's really hard to get them on the mat, get a couple of big books and just pop them either side. Bring the floor up to you. Fingertips are resting on something. Push the floor away, lengthen through the chest and lift on an inhale. Exhaling, you're going to fold forwards over the front leg. Toes coming back towards the face, and imagining that if you had a strap around your waist, a dressing gown cord around your waist, and somebody was pulling it up to the back of the room, your hips are being lengthened towards the back of your mat. You're trying to avoid putting the hips down on the heel. You're just lengthening the hips up and back here, stretching out the back of the right leg. From here, we're going to transition out carefully, turning off the stretch first. So give yourself a little bit of ease And then you're going to bring the right hand to the inside of the right foot and bring the right toes down onto the mat. As you walk your way around, take the left knee with you, to the left foot with you, sorry. So, left foot tracked back, perfectly back behind the left knee. This leg is straight now, and you've brought the right sole of the foot onto the floor. Press the little toe side of the foot down onto the floor to feel the leg activate, and from there, bring fingertips up onto hips. This might feel really nice to take a moment to just adjust yourself here. So think about tucking the tailbone underneath you, pressing the hips forward slightly. Lengthen right little toe side down onto the floor, so outside of the right leg is active. From here, we're going to take two different stretches. You're going to lengthen left fingertips up overhead, reach for the ceiling as the right hand transitions down the right leg, and maybe then starting to find a little side bend. So once you've gone up for the ceiling, then you start to come across with as much length as you possibly can, lengthening down the left side of the body. From here, bring right fingertips up on an inhale, lengthen up overhead. Exhaling, you're going to bring the left fingertips to the floor and let the right arm come up and over. You're reaching right fingertips for the place where the wall meets the ceiling. And if this, again, is a lot of stress in the left hand, grab a big book, or if you've got one, use a yoga brick, support the hand, bring the floor up to you. You're looking for one straight line running from fingertips to toes, lengthening all the way along the body. Nice. From here, once you've taken a couple of breaths, inhale, brings fingertips back up overhead. Little bit of a core challenge. Exhaling, you're going to bring the arms down, take the fingertips around to the left, so fingertips go to the left this time, and you're turning the body, let the toes go the way they naturally would, to push yourself back up into your downward facing dog. Maybe having a pedal out there facing in the other direction now. Seeing how the legs feel different after you've stretched out the right. Noticing what's going on in the backs of the legs especially. And then from here, when you're ready, you're going to bring the right foot a little bit more into the centre line. So just line it up with the middle of your hands, have a look. And then taking the left heel up and back. Doesn't matter if it's not high, you're just reaching the heel out. Lengthen through the leg first. Big exhale, shoots the knee into the belly, rounds the spine, rolls the body weight into the wrists, and then foot comes down. If that's not a simple transition, don't worry. If that takes you a couple of goes, it doesn't matter too much. You're going to use the hand to help and get the foot under the knee. Pressing out through the back heel. If that feels really nice, this might be a nice place to just stop here. And then from here, you're going to bring the right knee down onto the floor. So we're taking the exact same stretch on the other side. When you're ready, walking the hands up the front leg. Hands come up onto the knee. Inhaling, you push the knee away. Exhale, take a moment to just settle in here before you go anywhere. Body stacked upright, body in one line. And then from here, maybe you're starting to think about shooting the hips forwards and space to touch. If there's not enough room, creep toes forwards a little bit. You're going to bring hips forwards and down as much as you can. And keep the hands here on the front knee to support you. You're lengthening and lifting through the chest, finding the stretch in the front of the right leg, maybe in the front of the right hip flexor a little bit. And maybe there's some action in the back left hamstring. So you're lengthening and lifting. And then on your last breath, you're going to inhale, bring fingertips up overhead, lift as you come back to neutral. Exhale, fingertips shoot forwards as the hips shoot back, transitioning into your runner's lunge. Let the left toes come up off the floor towards you. And if there's not space to get the legs straight, take the left heel out slightly. You want the right thigh straight, so upright there, and you're bringing the left toes up and back towards the face. Again, if the floor is too far away, bring the floor to you. Lift the hands on blocks or bricks or books is going to be fine. Lift and lengthen with the chest. Exhale to fold in over the legs, stretching out the back of the left leg, feeling both hips pulled back in space, as if somebody had a belt around your hips, pulling them back towards the back of the mat. You're lengthening the chest forwards and down. From here, we're going to transition out carefully. Let the stretch turn off first. Then bring left fingertips to the inside of the left foot. We're turning around again here, bringing the right foot with you and letting the left sole of the foot make its way to the floor. Left little toe side of the foot presses down into the floor and the back of the right leg tracks back perfectly behind the knee. From here, bring hands onto the hips. And as you come up, take a moment to just adjust this if you need it. Maybe send the foot a little bit further away so you can get the leg nice and straight. And you're pressing hips forwards towards the front of the room. And what might be happening there is you might have a stretch coming down the left side of the leg. So from here, we're going to inhale the fingertips up overhead. And then you're letting the left hand make its way to the left thigh as you reach up and over with the right. You're reaching and lengthening all the way down the right-hand side of the body. When you're ready, inhale to come up and out, lengthening fingertips back up overhead and maybe bringing right hand all the way down to the mat or onto that yoga brick or that big book that you found. You're lengthening up and over through the left fingertips, reaching fingertips long, all the way from fingertips to toes, grounding down the left edge of the foot like you're flattening the sole of the foot completely into the floor. Reach through the fingertips, maybe have a little look up at the top hand, might feel nice in the neck. And then when you're ready, you're going to inhale to come back up to centre, pull the belly in, a little bit of a core challenge as you get those fingertips up off the floor. Fingertips come back to the mat and you're turning towards the right, making your way back to your downward facing dog over here, taking the feet with you, let the toes turn naturally as much as they want to, and then you'll push it up and back. Find your downward facing dog and pedal that off, stretching out through the backs of the legs. From here, we're just going to make our way to the mat as carefully as possible. So let the knees drop to the floor. See if you can land the knees silently. Nearly. So you're going to take the knees out slightly wide, toes come together. Push the hips back onto the heels and find your way into an extended child's pose. You're bringing the body out long. You can bring the forehead to rest on the mat. If the mat's too far away for you here, a pillow underneath the forehead is going to feel really nice. So dropping the face down and lengthening the arms out ahead of you. Just taking a big breath here. When you're ready, you're going to tent up on the fingertips and creep the hands in, seeing if you can roll through the whole back. Roll through the whole back all the way up to kneeling, and we'll just finish with a gentle toe stretch. So I'll show you it from the side because it's easier to see. You're going to come to tuck the toes underneath you, and maybe reaching back, you might tuck the little toe as well as you start to bring the hips onto the heels. So you're making sure that you've got all 5 toes tucked in, especially the little toe, everything tucked in underneath you. If you can, you're going to sit the weight back, hips stacked on the heels, so the whole weight of the legs going through the soles of the feet. If that's really uncomfortable for you, keep some weight in the fingertips, that's going to be fine. Or use those big books if the floor is too far away. You're just letting the soles of the feet unwind here, maybe taking a couple of breaths. If it feels really nice, pause the video and stay here for a couple more breaths. Stick it out for a bit longer if you can. Letting the backs, the soles of the feet just gently soften and unwind, letting the Achilles tendons stretch out with the backs of the feet as well. When you're done with it, you're going to gently bring the weight forwards into the fingertips. Soften out the tops of the feet. It might feel nice to just sort of pedal them out on the mat, let them be completely soft. And then, if kneeling is comfortable for you, we're going to finish kneeling. If you'd rather sit cross-legged or any other way, that's completely fine. We're going to find our way to a comfortable seat, making your way cross-legged, kneeling, sitting on a pillow, legs outstretched in front of you, anything goes. Going to take a big inhale to bring the arms up overhead. Exhaling, you're going to bring the hands through heart center. Maybe dip the chin to the chest. Find a lovely stretch through the back of the neck. If you're happy with the hands at heart center to seal the practice, you'll leave them here. If you'd like to do anything else, feel free. You're dropping the chin down, lengthening the back of the neck, and just taking a quiet moment. Give yourself some credit for putting in the effort to warm down from your run, to stretch out the backs of your legs. Thank you all so much. It's been lovely practicing with you. Have a lovely day. Thanks.